Hey, it's the Empire. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon for more videos. We taking over. Let's go, champ. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's go.
Hey, it's the Empire, Geoboxing Empire, Backchannel Boxing. Now, man, this is a really big deal, man. You guys see the tweet, man. DEVIN HANEY quotes and says that this fight between Gary Russell Jr. and himself has been greenlighted by Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Uncle Al Haymon. Now, this is a massive big deal because a lot of people are talking about how this fight it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. These fighters don't want to fight each other. But you know what they say, man. It's not about who you want to fight. It's who the promoters want you to fight. And Floyd Mayweather telling Devin the Dream Haney that, hey, man, you should fight this guy. And Al Haymon, who has a close relationship with Gary Russell Jr., is telling him, hey, man, you can fight Devin Haney. This makes this fight even easier to make because Floyd Mayweather has the ear of Al Haymon, and Al Haymon has the ear of Floyd Mayweather, and it makes business sense for them to fight each other. Whenever you get Floyd Mayweather co-signing any fighter, that guy gets elevated to extreme level, and he has to live to extreme expectations, right? Devin Haney is at the point of his career where he can't really take any soft touches, and he needs a marquee name, right? That marquee name has to be a old lion, right? To get the old fans to respect the kid, right? Devin the Dream Haney is a great fighter, but he's a young fighter, and he's gonna have to beat an elite level opponent like a Gary Russell Jr. to get any respect. Gary Russell Jr. is a phenomenal fighter as well. The guy was around in it during the era of the Leo Santa Cruz's, the Lomachenkos, the Rigondeaux, and all those fights didn't get made, unfortunately. The only notable fight was Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux, but it's wild because now that they got these new crop of fighters, the Teofimo Lopez's, the Ryan Garcia's, the Devin Haney's, and the Devontae Tank Davis's, they're fighting these old lions who never really fight each other, but who are extreme talents, right? So we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out, man. We'll see how big Gary Russell Jr. Is and how his body looks going up to 135, because that's what's gonna be the separation factor, the it factor, to see if Devin the Dream Haney will have a chance in this Gary Russell Jr. fight, because everyone's really talking about the size difference. That's the difference. Because if you talk skill for skill, it's really hard to go against a fighter like a Gary Russell Jr. in my opinion, just because he is the fastest fighter in boxing. Let's just not play games. He's the fastest fighter in the game, and this makes for attributes that really can't be learned, right? This is higher than boxing. This is higher than, ring generalship. He's the fastest guy, and you can't really replicate that, right? I mean, what kind of a sparring partner is Devin the Dream Haney going to get to imitate a Gary Russell Jr.? There's plenty of boxers out there who can box real well, like a Devin the Dream Haney. All you gotta do is get a tall fighter who has decent footwork, who can box it outside. That's easy to get, right? But imitating speed like a Gary Russell Jr., who's a southpaw, that's like impossible. It's impossible, really. So we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out, man. A lot of people are leaning toward Gary Russell Jr. I'm leaning toward Gary Russell too. The only thing that's really got me nervous is the size difference. So, but we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out, man. There's a lot of Floyd Mayweather has fought, the Gary Russell Jr.'s in his prime as far as speed goes, as far as elite level southpaw and Zab Judah when they were fighting each other. So he knows how to break down fighters who are faster than him. But even that is a hard thing to do, because Gary Russell Jr., i.e. when Floyd Mayweather fought Zab Judah, the thing is, Floyd Mayweather wasn't doing good for the first half of that fight. He didn't start taking control to after round 5, to about round 5, right? So, in my opinion, I think Gary Russell Jr. is going to start off strong, and then Devin the Dream Haney is going to have to push the pace later in the fight, right? Any fast fighter who's faster than you, it's going to be hard to really start banking around early, because they have such a speed advantage, right? Think another fighter, even a fighter who skipped weight classes who did the same thing, Kell Brook versus Triple G, right? Kell Brook was doing great in the beginning of the fight because he was so quick, right? That means something. So we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out, man. I'm not talking past Devin Haney, but I just feel like he has his work cut out for him. We'll see if Gary Russell can stay and get as big as he needs to get to stay competitive at 135, right? We're gonna see how this whole thing plays out, man. But yeah, man, Floyd Mayweather, Al Haymon, green light this fight, man. Say, yeah, man, we need this fight to happen. Big deal, big deal. This basically almost cements the fight, right? Just the contract needs to be on point. Let me know how you guys feel about it, though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Jew Empire. Peace.